Hello, everybody. Welcome you all. My name is Marcelo Mira. I am the head of the international office at PUCPR, and it is with great pleasure that we are starting here the 7th edition of our symposium, PUCPR on Internationalization, also known as SPIN 2020. I am very happy to be here. It's a real honor to have you all. I want to start by thank you for joining us for this opening session. This is one of 6 very interesting, very provocative sessions that we designed for our symposium this year, taking advantage of the fact that, of course, we are all online, therefore the sky is the limit, and you will see that over the next 3 days. We'll have 2 sessions today, 2 sessions tomorrow, and 2 sessions the day after tomorrow. And again, you're all welcome and invited to join us. It is my pleasure and my real honor to have together with us to open the symposium this year our rector, Professor Waldemiro Gremski, who will join us now for his welcome. Professor Gremski, it's a real honor and it's a real pleasure to have you joining us. Please feel free to address the audience. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, dear international educators and friends. Welcome to PUCPR and the 7th edition of our Symposium of Internationalization, this year conducted entirely online under the theme International Partnership, Precious Connections. The 2020 edition of the SPIN, in fact, was designed to celebrate what most of us across the world are missing deeply, and thus just realizing how precious they are. Our connections with partners, friends, and loved ones at all levels, personal and professional. Instead of regretting not being able to promote our symposium as an in-person meeting, as we have done in the previous years, we decided to take advantage of technology to bring together some of PUCPR dearest friends from across the globe, Asia, Europe, North and Latin America. The result is a series of live webcasts in which important themes on international education will be discussed by experts in relaxed, informal conversations that I am sure will be both entertaining and informative to the audience. But most of all, we believe that through our symposium, we will be celebrating our institutional and often personal friendship, the most precious patrimony an institution can build. On behalf of the entire community of PUCPR students, faculty, staff, and administrators, I want to thank all the panelists, all the moderators for joining us on this celebration, as well as all of you who are attending and contributing with your expertise and enthusiasm with international education. I wish you all a great meeting. Welcome to PUCPR and to 7th edition of the SPIN. Thank you very much.
Rector Gremski, thank you so much for your words. We do feel really welcome. And again, it's a real honor and it's a real pleasure to having you opening our symposium. Thank you very much. I hope you can join us for some of our upcoming sessions. You'll be always very welcome, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we still have some additional surprises for these opening sessions. I'm also happy and I'm also honored to introduce you all to Professor Paula Cristina Trevilatto, our Pro-rector for Research, Graduate Studies and Innovation, where the international office at PUCPR is also based at. So Professor Paula, welcome. I'm happy that you were able to join us. Feel free to address the audience from now on. Thank you so much for being here.
Dear Rector Professor Waldemiro Gremski, dear Marcelo and team, dear friends, welcome to the 7th edition of the Symposium PUCPR on Internationalization. Internationalization has been a priority to PUCPR and was strongly reaffirmed this year in our institutional strategic plan. I'm glad to say that upcoming Summer Institute that will be hosted in the beautiful campus in Florence, shared with our amazing partners from Kent State, Webster, and Dunkirk universities. I'm sure Marcelo will explore these subjects further in a moment. I would just like to mention that 1, PUCPR is the university that offers the largest number of English courses in Brazil, and 2, is ranked first in internationalization in the state of Paraná, according to Times Higher Education World University Rankings. PUCPR is working hard to become an international university because we firmly believe our central goal is to form citizens and professionals inserted and prepared to deal with the challenges of the global community, especially those related with the post-pandemic scenario. I believe we are on the right track. I wish you all a great symposium. Thank you all for joining us, and welcome to PUCPR.
Thank you, Professor Paula. It's always nice to have you next to us. Once again, feel free to join us for the next sessions. I would like to say that probably all of the heads and staff working at the international offices that are watching us now, they know that it's impossible to make a university become an international institution without institutional support. And that we clearly have at PUCPR. And I guess that your address and Professor Rector Gremski address also make this very, very clear. We are fully supported at PUCPR to try to go as much international as possible because, as you mentioned, we really believe that we're failing if we, as a university, if we're not working to prepare professionals and citizens inserted into the global community. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. All right, so after this amazing opening, what we have to do now is to just, once again, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And what we do from now on for this first session of the symposium is to what we always do. We're going to the 7th year of the symposium, and I always take advantage of this first session to first make some comments about the theme of the symposium, and I will get to that point soon. But also we like to do a kind of a progress report. So what happened at PUCI over the past year, and how do we feel by these progresses, and what do we expect for the next years? Usually what I do is I prepare a PowerPoint presentation, and I give a presentation. I try to be technical with some aspects of the theme of the symposium, and then I also try to be technical and be based on numbers when I'm giving my progress report. And I was actually preparing this PowerPoint presentation last week, and then I realized that, you know, we're kind of going against the whole idea of the symposium for this year. And I've been talking to all the amazing panelists that you will meet over the next 3 days, and I was telling them, you know, that they don't need to worry about creating, you know, formal presentations and things like that, because we really want to do something else. We really want to do our sessions as relaxed and informal conversations, like the rector mentioned, about the themes of the symposium. So I decided to stop what I was doing. I canceled the PowerPoint presentation for this session, and I decided to do something that is more connected with the idea, with the theme of the symposium, which is to invite my colleagues, administrators at PUCPR International to join me, and then we'll just talk across us four, and we'll just do a session like a nostalgic session of reminding and remembering what the things that we've been through over the past incredible and strange year, as you certainly know. But before I do that, before I introduce my colleagues to join me on this session, I would like to thank the rector and the pro-rector once again to join us for this opening. I'd like to say that to all of you who are listening to us and participating on this session, a link will be available here. You can use the chat, and if you go there closer to the end of the session, you'll find a link that you can fill up a form, very, very easy. It will take like 10 seconds with your name and your institution, and we'll use that record to send you a certificate of participation on the symposium. So if you're interested, if a certificate is important to you, I just ask you to kindly access that link at the end of the session. Send us your info and we will return with the certificate. Okay. I'd like to also thank in advance our participants, all of you who are listening, our panelists. You will see that we have an amazing array of panelists representing pretty much every single continent in the planet, ranging from South Korea to Europe, North America, South America, Brazil, of course. It will be very exciting to participate on the sessions. I'd like to thank the moderators of the sessions also, who are mainly colleagues at PUCI. We're very honored with their contribution. And of course, the organizing committee of the symposium. We're doing this for the very first time. As you can imagine, this is usually a in-person classic kind of symposium. So we're all learning a lot. And the organizing committee of this year's symposium has done an amazing job, not only in organizing everything, but also making us feel comfortable and safe that all these things, all these new things that we're going through will actually work. And I think it's working really well. So on that special note, I'd like to thank Ana Luisa Marquez from my team. She's done an amazing job, very hardworking, connecting and contacting and talking to everybody who's participating on the symposium. Tatiane Alves de Amorim from our marketing department, specifically the people responsible for our events, has done an amazing job also. And Alex Santos, who is our IT guy, our expert, who is behind the scenes taking care of all the technology that are making these possible. All right, so going to let's move on to the theme of the symposium. We decided to do something kind of different, and I hope that you can feel it also as unexpected, because, of course, the easy way to go would be to put COVID-19 and the coronavirus and the pandemic at the spotlight. There's a lot of events online about international education. They're doing this. And again, as I said, this would be the natural way of moving forward. But we decided to not do that. Of course, we cannot ignore the pandemic and COVID-19 and the huge impact that this thing is exerting on us, our personal lives, our professional lives, the things that we do every day, of course. So we're not ignoring it, but we're not also making it the center of the attention of our symposium. We want to do something a little bit different, which is to celebrate our partners and our partnerships. This is what we really want to do over the next 3 days. And this is because it's amazing that, by being physically isolated as we are, and we still are, most of us still are, by being isolated, we realize how we are not alone. And how important our friends and our partners are. I don't know about you, but I'm really amazed to see how connected we are with people. And we who are privileged to work with international education, we're connected with people and friends all around the globe. And so if in one hand we are physically isolated and socially isolated at home, to me, the real big message is we are really not alone. We have a lot of people next to us, close to us, working with us. Of course, technology helps, but it's not everything. It's really the people. And as I keep saying all the time, international education and internationalization of universities, it's all about the people, really. And again, we're proving that true. So, of course, like I said, the pandemic is exerting a huge impact upon our lives as international educators. Our first reaction at PUCI when this craziness started was to run and try to make our people safe. And we've had students and professors and faculty all around the world. And we've also had people from many different countries at PUCI by then. And our first reaction was, we have to make these people safe. And not only make them safe, but feel safe. And I think we did a good job doing that. And Lydia, our coordinator for international mobility, will touch on that point in a few moments. But then with time, as we realized that our people were safe, we also realized that something that could have paralyzed us as international educators actually became pure energy, and pure energy towards innovation, fueled by creativity. And we realized that we were being just naturally creative in order to find ways to keep doing what we were doing somehow. And then soon enough, we realized that our partners all around the world were doing the same thing. And we started to get messages about these amazing programs of online mobility, exchange programs, online virtual interaction between students and professors. So that was really an amazing experience, to realize that if someone would come to me one day and say, listen, if there is a pandemic, what do you think it's going to happen with international education? I would easily and quickly reply, probably we would be paralyzed by, I don't know how long. And again, that didn't happen because we are creative people and we love what we do. So through our partners, we realized that life was still happening and intensively. And these very creative people were connecting in so many different and exciting ways. And it became very, very clear to me that what seems to be obvious now, but that together we will overcome this weird times that we're living through, and we will emerge on the other side much better than we were as individuals, of course, but also as institutions. So we decided to dedicate the 2020 symposium on PUCPR on internationalization to our friends, to our partners all across the world. And we want the symposium to be a celebration of our friendships, and we want to celebrate together with all of you. So that's the idea. We have from now on 5 additional sessions. Today we will talk about the experience that we're just joining of sharing a international campus with 3 amazing partners in exciting and creative universities. And not only that, but we're sharing that campus in Florence, Italy, the birthplace of the Renaissance, of course, as you probably all know. So it's an amazing initiative that, again, we're just joining in. So we have 3 continents represented in this beautiful campus in Florence. So we have a session tonight that will explore the possibilities and the challenges of 4 universities to join in and share an international campus in Europe. So we'll have universities from US, we'll have us, of course, from PUC, and a university from South Korea. We'll also have sessions. Tomorrow we'll talk about this virtual mobility and online international education initiatives. We didn't start with anything similar to that yet at PUCPR. And we are amazed by some of our partners who are already providing and offering programs like that at their universities. So for that session, if you're curious what these creative guys are doing, I invite you to join this session that will have people from Brazil, from France, from Chile, and from Mexico, showing their initiatives and discussing against the pros and cons of having to work in this virtual space. We will have again a session, I think it's tomorrow, in which we will talk about the efforts that PUCPR is doing to bring internationalization to the classrooms and the offices of the professors, of the administrators, of the staff. How can we do that? How can we move on from a centralized international office into something that is much more closer to the public, to the students and the professors? And that session will be run by our international agents. And if you join us, you will understand who they are, what's the idea behind our international agents, and what they're doing at their academic units to bring internationalization to the daily life of the people at PUCPR. We'll also have a session for the students. We loved the idea last year. If you remember last year, the theme of the symposium was the students first. And we, from that symposium on, we promised ourselves that we will never let the students out of the spin again. So this is our way of saying that we'll fulfill that promise. We'll have a session with students from Mexico, from US, from France, and from Brazil. They will talk to each other. They will share their experiences. And we also have a final session on the role of the international offices, why we do have to have international offices, and what are these offices doing in different continents. So we'll have us from PUC participating in this session, together with a university from the United States and from Portugal. All right, so this is about the theme of the symposium this year. I would like to move on to the next and final part of our session, of our opening session. And for that, I'd like to invite my dear colleagues and friends, administrators at PUCPR International, and that is Professor Daniel Hashem, who's been the Associate Director at PUCPR International for the whole year. Also, Viviane Martins. Viviane is the coordinator for strategic projects at PUCPR International. And then finally, Lydia Kowalski, who is the coordinator for international mobility. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I know it was such short notice, so I'm really happy, and I'm really proud that you're here. And again, like we decided to do together, it's a last minute change of plans, but I think it's much more exciting and even fair than just me there giving a PowerPoint presentation. So I will start by telling something, just throwing something on the table about my experience over the past year. As you know, and probably most of the people who are watching also know, that was a very special year for me. I spent this year abroad. I spent a year as a visiting professor at Kent State University, which is one of our main partners, and you'll hear a lot about Kent State over the next 3 days. I had this amazing experience of joining the Office for Global Education at Kent State and learn with our partners what the amazing things that they are doing there and interacting with everybody. It's an amazing office, sharing experiences, sharing good practices. And I'm just dying to have a chance. I just recently came back to Brazil, and I'm really dying to have a chance to share everything that I learned with our partners at Kent State, with you guys here and everybody at the team. But one of the work that I've done intensively there was to take advantage of the experience of these guys at Kent State on running a summer institute to create our own summer institute at PUCPR. And this is not ready yet. We're still working hard, and we still rely on our partnership with Kent State to learn much more than we know now. But I'm happy to say that we are really I can see our summer institute really coming together over the next probably few weeks. And the idea of the summer institute is that we will create an additional session to our academic year. In Brazil, as the Brazilians certainly know, we only have 2 sessions, 2 academic sessions. We have what we call the first semester of the year and the second semester of the year. What we want to create at PUCPR with the Summer Institute is the opportunity of a 3rd session. And that will happen in the summer during the holidays, the summer holidays. This is very common in North America and in Europe, but it's we don't see that very often in South America, I would have to say, and in Brazil we certainly don't. And through the Summer Institute, we want our students to be able to do disciplines that they would do from their regular curriculum during the holidays. And since they're doing it during holidays, we can add an international component to it by maybe offering some of the disciplines abroad. And then again, Campus Florence comes to the scene. We have plans to offer PUCPR Summer Institute courses twice a year because we are considering that we're lucky enough to have access to 2 summers. And the Southern Hemisphere summer will offer courses in Curitiba at our beautiful campus. But during the Northern Hemisphere summer, we will use our campus in Florence as the base, as the center of our Summer Institute. So again, watch us because it's coming. The PUCPR Summer Institute probably with the first offer in our summer in Curitiba in January, and hopefully our first offer for our summer institute in 2021 in July in beautiful Florence. All right. Okay, so this is one of the things that happened, but there's so many other things. And I think that 2020, 2019 and 2020 was a critical year for capillarization, which is a word that in Portuguese we use a lot. And that means, moving the things that we do at the central office to the people that really matters, the students and the professors and so on. So I would like to ask Danielle to comment on the things that we've been doing. And I think there's been a lot of advances on us making this critical movement towards our academic community. And Danielle is the perfect guy to comment because he's been ahead of the most important initiatives in this regard. So Danielle, please feel free and tell us about the things that you think were important to us over the past year.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Marcelo, for this opportunity. I would also like to deeply thank you, Professor Paula and Professor Waldemiro, for inviting me to join the team as Associate Director since last year. It has been an awesome experience for me to be part of this outstanding team. So in this very short address, I thought it would be nice to highlight our two main goals during 2019 and 2020, and the three major projects that we have implemented. So over the past year, our Internationalization Office has focused on two major goals. First, to internationalize the university in a planned and strategic way, and not in a random way. And second, to capillarize internationalization actions within the schools of the university. As for the first goal, since 2016, our university has a strategic internationalization plan that runs from 2016 to 2022, with two major axes divided into guidelines and strategies. And we understand that these plans and rationalized action focus on objectives and goals is essential to avoid losing focus on where the university intends to reach. This is the role of an internationalization office. We're going to talk about this in another session. But the main role of an office like this is to coordinate all the university's international activities, but always pushing the schools concrete initiatives towards the direction in which the institution intends to go, always in line with the objectives, the general ones of the university. And in parallel to this first goal, we have our second goal, which is exactly to capillarize internationalization actions within the university schools, creating a fertile environment for internationalization to also develop from the bottom up. In other words, if on the one hand, the planning and the coordination of these actions by our office are important activities, on the other hand, we must mention that it is not for us to establish policies unilaterally from top to bottom, imposing on professors, students, and staff the only possible path. To use a metaphor, we could say that we understand that the role of an internationalization office is not to violently transplant the trees of internationalization within the school grounds. Because if that happens, the chances are high that they will not adapt to that soil, to that climate, and they will die. So our role is to prepare the ground to make it fertile so that new initiatives can flourish, and to assist in the identification of the best internationalization seeds so that the gardeners of each school, professors, students, and staff, can plant them, water them, and make their own gardens blossom. I'm sorry, am I being overly poetic? How tacky was that? But this is the result of a very
that was
rainy winter in Curitiba that is making me miss all the flowers. So, to achieve these two goals, we have implemented three major projects this year. The first one is PUCPR Global Classes, which is a program through which professors are encouraged, even with special bonuses, to offer their regular courses in a foreign language at three different levels of the use of the foreign language. In the first level, we have only the use of bibliography and teaching material in a foreign language. But at the third level, we have the complete use of the foreign language in classes, including exams and assessments. We already had an excellent result in the first semester, with a large number of offers from undergraduate and graduate courses. And Viviane can mention some of this data later. And we are very proud to tell that a recent report issued by VII and the British Council showed that among all Brazilian universities, PUCPR is the one with the highest number of regular courses taught in English, with the highest variety of areas. And this was before the launch of PUCPR Global Classes. So we have high hopes on this program. The second project was the school's internationalization plans. Each school of the university was encouraged to create its own customized internationalization plan, always in line with the university's strategic internationalization plan. And as a result, each school planned its international actions for the coming years. As an internationalization office, we set goals and indicators with the deans of each school to assess the level of development and evolution of each school's internationalization. We have general metrics, which are valid for all schools, such as the number of incoming students and courses taught in foreign languages. But each school has also created its own goals, which will allow the rector to assess the level of internationalization development of each school over the years. And the results were amazing. The schools came with excellent initiatives of programs and projects for their internationalization. And the third and last project that I would like to highlight here is the strengthening of the position of schools' internationalization agents. So we have in our university this figure of the school's internationalization agents. Each school has a professor in charge of implementing internationalization actions within the school. This year, the objective was precisely to achieve our second goal, which I mentioned earlier, to capillarize internationalization actions within the schools. And for this, we created a resolution that allocates a significant amount of working hours for these professors to dedicate themselves exclusively to the school's internationalization actions. So I think this was the main projects, and I'm sure that Lydia and Viviane can tell us a little more of other activities from our office.
Danielle, fantastic. Thank you so much. That was really amazing. We know that we've been through it, but when we see it, coming out as you put it, it's really amazing. It makes me feel so proud. And then again, I just can't help mentioning that I'm so happy and so proud that I had this idea and that I have you guys here joining me. That I think I'll never go back to the old way of doing things, because this is much better. And the theme of the symposium is partnerships, right? You can also say friendships, and we don't do these things alone. We need partners and friends, and then again, I think you're all representing our partners and friends from PUCPR International here so beautifully that I am really happy and I'm really proud. But going a little bit back to the technicals, Danielle, it's a tough job, to move all these actions closer to the people that really matters. And I think that we were talking prior to come online with the rector, and he was saying how difficult it is to change a culture, right? And I think that what we are trying to do is changing cultures here. It takes a long time. You need to be resilient, relentless, and patient. And I think all these things are good characteristics of our team at PUCPR International. So thank you so much again for your input. That brings me to Viviane. Vivi, you at PUCPR International is the person that takes care of all the agreements. You take care of the projects, you make them happen, right? You follow them up closely, so you often have interesting numbers that you bring to our discussions and our meetings. And I think that our audience would be particularly interested in some of these numbers, such as, for example, Danielle mentioned the global classes. Do you have something to tell us about how it's been implemented and where we are now as compared to the old program, the old English semester program? And also, I know that you do a hard work, conducting discussions with potential new partners to bring some of new partners to us and to our world. And I know that it's been an amazing journey through the process of getting partners interested in doing double degree agreements with us. So maybe you can comment a little bit on those two aspects of the things that happened over the past year.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for inviting us. This is such a first time for me, but I'm loving it, the experience, and it's a pleasure to be part of this amazing team. So I'm just going to start off contextualizing a little bit about global classes, just going a little bit back, what it used to be, and then we can talk about global classes. As you already know, but maybe most of our partners don't know, that global class used to be our English semester, right? Which was a design program that was specifically designed, 7-8 years ago, to host for international students. We had a large number of international students, and we would like to offer these guys classes offered entirely in English. But the idea throughout the years, we noticed, we're amazed that our local students were actually interested in taking these classes. So last year, you guys decided to take upon the job to redesign the whole program, starting by offering classes not only in English, but in different languages, as most of our professors, they speak fluently Spanish, French, German, even Hebrew. So that was a process that we needed to work on the school, right? And empower these professors. Listen, there's a possibility we can offer these classes at different levels. So we decided to redesign the program. Instead of offering only in English and entirely English, the professors, they now have a chance to prepare the class for basic, let's say, a class in English will be offered with some material, some bibliography material. Level 2, intermediate, half and half, I would say. But in level 3, the professor has a chance to offer entirely in English or entirely in French. And our students, our local and international students, have the broader opportunity to be part of this. So this is really amazing. And it's quite a challenging to show our professors, our faculty, it's possible, join us. And for surprises, we've had a large numbers of classes the first semester. Well, just to point it out that the first project was launched at our campus in Londrina, right? With 3 or 4 classes, and the professors there were amazing, the medicine and theology professors. And for the first semester, just for some numbers, we had a total of 68 classes at level 3 in different languages, mostly in English, of course. We have 45 classes at level 2 and only 7 classes at level 1. So we have faculty that are prepared to take on this project. It's an ambitious project. And Also, our graduate classes, which is very natural for the professors and researchers, we had a total of 8 graduate classes the first semester. Now the second semester, we have a total, 34 classes in level 3 for the graduate total, all of our graduate programs. 34 classes in level 3, 35 classes in level 1. So this is really amazing. And moving on to the other projects, we had a significant growth in the agreements. Of course, it's no new for anybody that the large number of agreements, it's not actually potential for projects. Like you can have as many as agreements as you can, but most of these sometimes ended up in the drawer. So we need to we actually work hard to keep up with our strategic partners or our very good close friends. They're actually celebrating today and throughout these days. That for us, it's a big challenge, but it's quite interesting to see how much it brought in terms of double degree offers. All of our schools are taking on this challenge, and it's quite interesting. We currently have 18 double degrees agreements for many different courses, such as business school, journalism, polytechnical school. We have double degrees with Italy, France, Spain, United States, and it's the number it's been growing. We have 18 total already finalized, and nine more agreements coming in. So it's a very intense work, but it's worth it. It's quite overwhelming to see our students acquiring 2 degrees. We had the chance to see this last year in a very small ceremony, and it was so emotional to see like they're earning 2 degrees. It was so powerful. I was there with Lydia and the rest of the team. And what else I was gonna say? Let's see. the last. Oh yeah, and we also we have such a large number of almost 280 agreements that, as you can imagine, we have a small team, and it's quite challenging to manage all these agreements that you have to renew, you have to sign up, you have to keep up, and now we are finally the final steps of modernizing the whole management tool, and it'll be awesome for the staff, for the professors, for the students, so where they can have like a fast and easy access, and they can actually see it, all of our partners, all of the programs we offer, all of the spots by semester, biannually. So it's coming together. We have an amazing team for the TI guys, the system and the behind us supporting us for this initiative. And these are some of like the projects that are ongoing for now. And this is it. Yeah, this is pretty much what we've been having for this past months, this crazy past months.
Yeah, this crazy past year, right?
Last year.
Thank you, Vivi. That was amazing, really. It's it's very sexy, the Global Classes program, right? People like it's very visible. It puts us really on the spotlight with all the disciplines. Now that you mentioned, not only in English, but in all different languages. And it's amazing that we do have disciplines being offered in Hebrew or in German and in France. This is really amazing, right?
In Greek.
In Greek, wow. When you think about it, it's really crazy. And we're super proud of that. And it's been a growth, right? We have disciplines being taught in English for many years now. And I think that this jump that you mentioned, from a program that is designed to the international students to a program that is designed to our local students, I think that's the biggest difference. That's the main difference between the old English semester program to the new Global Classes program. Global Classes is for a local student, right? And then the international student can take advantage of that. So it seems easy when you say it, but that changes everything, the whole concept. changes completely. We're talking about internationalization at home, right? And we're doing this because our student, our local student, is eager to join the international community even without traveling, just by going to their regular classes every day at our beautiful campus in Curitiba. So this is really amazing, and to see the growth is fantastic, right? We barely launched the Global Classes program, and we made this big jump from dozens of disciplines to hundreds of disciplines now.
Yeah.
And the double degree is a good like measurements, a good metrics on the work that is being done, right? Universities all around the world, like you mentioned, US, Asia, right? Interested in joining us and granting degrees together with us. That's when you stop and think about it, it's really amazing, right? That means that I think we're doing something right.
I like to joke around. Like I like to say that the double degree agreement is like a marriage, because it's such a serious relationship that you have to be committed along with the partner. If you're not committed, it's not going to happen. So that's what I tell the schools that are taking on the initiative to sign a double degree. But it's been very interesting to see, and the changing of the mindset of the university as a university as a whole. It's quite interesting. Like, you know, like you said, we don't do this alone, and if you don't have the areas that we can count on, and we do, thank God, we do, thankfully, from our legal team, from our administrative, academic units, so it's possible. It's challenging, but it's possible.
Fantastic, and that's the last point I want to make, you know, with you before we move on to Lydia, is that you mentioned this platform, this online platform that will allow you and your team to manage all the partnerships, right? And this is something that is not visible. People don't see that, right? It's not as sexy as having the global classes or the double degrees, but it's so important. It makes such a huge difference. So I'm very happy that you mentioned that. And also our partners, like you said, from the legal department, you know, and from the academic department and the IT and so on. It's not often as they're not often visible to the people, but they're so critical. They're so important. And I would like to, you know, take advantage of that hook and say thank you to all of our partners that are not that at the front lines, but they're making all these things possible. Thank you, Vivi. Now, I would like to, we're going towards the end of the session, and as I predicted, you know, as we're having this interesting conversation between us four, you know, I could just go on forever. But unfortunately, we do have time and people have planned. I would like to tease Lydia to talk a little bit, because Lydia, she is the coordinator of international mobility at PUCPR International. So Lydia and her team is dealing with the students all the time and the parents of the students all the time, which is critical and very, very difficult to do in normal circumstances, right? Let alone through a pandemic like we're living through over the past months. So Lydia, tell us a little bit of the things that your co-coordination at PUCPR International had to do when you faced this amazing, tremendous challenge that was the pandemic. I know it hit us very hard, it hit us very sudden, but I was there, and I know that you reacted very, 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 very quick and efficiently. So can you tell us a little bit about what went on with your co-coordination by then?
Of course, Professor. Thank you. Hi, Professor Marcelo. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. Yes, but I think we can manage this because we have a good team, and everyone working very hard for this. And we always are helping exchange students with cultural shock aspects, academic matters, and suddenly we are faced with a total unknown scenario where quickly a decision should be made. I believe it was a big challenge for everyone. So Besides the students, in addition, we need to support the parents also, because generally in a normal situation, the parents feel the separation during the exchange program, and we can imagine all the anxiety, doubts about this new scenario. I think empathy was the word for this moment. Yeah? And this helped us to make decisions. And we work very closely with other departments, like academic and psychological departments, and it was essential. Of course, we follow the international news, and immediately we contact our students to check how they were. I think it's the priority. And to know the orientation that they received from our partners. And of course, we give the option to our students to continue or cancel the program. But I think the support offered by our partners was fundamental to the student and parents' decision. And with the great support of the partners, only 8% of our students canceled the program. I think this support is very important, okay? And of course, it is new for everyone. And in the other hand, we offer the same support to the international students also, because we have around 69 students here at PUC, and only 50% of the students cancel the program and return to your home country. And it's the same. Here or there, we help the students, and I think the empathy is very important at this moment. Professor Daniel helped us a lot during this process with the juridical department, and maybe if he would like give more information about this, but Professor Daniel is very essential to help us during this process. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Lydia. That's really amazing. That was a huge challenge. I know that we may have colleagues that work with international education listening to us, and they know exactly what you're talking about, because we've all been through this, right? And it was like probably the most challenging, experience we've ever had. Really, as simple as that, right? And but we also have professors and students and people that are not working every day with the international education following us now, and they can only imagine, the size of the problem, because the way I see it is, if you're a parent, and if you have your child, your son or your daughter, on living in a different country, and something terrible as this pandemic happens, your urge is to protect them somehow, to make sure that they're well, and but you are not there at the same time, so you have to rely on the people that are actually too close to them or closer to them somehow. And it's very reassuring when we have someone that we trust, close to our kids, wherever they are in a situation that is difficult as this one. So what we're telling here is this extended to a huge family. Like us at PUCPR International, we have hundreds of sons and daughters, distributed all around the world. And at the same time, we are also taking care of the sons and the daughters of people that trusted us and sent them to us to live with us in Curitiba and in Brazil for a while. So think about that. It's a huge challenge. And that is the challenge that Lydia and her team faced, and with brilliantism. You did such a great job, Lydia, and your numbers, showing us that only a proportion of the international students who were here in Curitiba decided to go back to their countries. And also only a small proportion of our students who were abroad decided to come back to Brazil tells a lot. That tells us that they were feeling safe, right? Either here or abroad. And I think, you and your team plays a major role in sending that message that they're safe and they do have someone close to them all the time.
And it's not only the COVID situation, but all the impact, because we have some students having problems with the flight cancellation, and of course the physical department help us, because the students go abroad for have one semester of the exchange program, and the exchange is not only in class but contact to other people, and the student was frustrated, and we need to manage all these points.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this is the perfect way of closing our opening session, because again, our symposium we want it to be a celebration of our partnerships and our friends. And how can we make that better than thanking them all for supporting our students and our faculty abroad, through these very difficult times, and telling them that as we feel supported by them, I hope they also feel supported by us when they need us here in Curitiba, right? So I think this is the perfect way of closing our session. We're smack on time, so I would like to thank you all for participating. And just to wrap it up, I also want to thank our team at PUCPR International who are represented here, right? So we have Mateus, we have Thais, we have Patricia, we have Renata working with you guys in your own specific teams. And this is, like I say every year, and I'll never be tired to say that, this is the most amazing, team of international educators I know. And that's what you are. You are international educators, all of you. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of this team together with you guys. Thank you so much. And Danielle, it's been an honor. I don't know if you all know, but Danielle is staying with us for the next year. He is an extremely talented and busy guy, and he will take care of some other stuff, some other important things at PUCPR as a scientist and as a professor. But listen, man, it was incredible. We were so happy to have you close to us, and we'll never let you go. You can go officially, but you will always be part of the team, all right? No matter what you do. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you very much, Marcelo and everyone. I still feel I'm part of the team, even if I leave at some point. But I'll be glad to participate in all of the events and other opportunities that you have.
You have no
need
choice,
my
my
participation.
friend. You'll always be with us. With that, people, I would like to thank you all for joining us. We have some amazing numbers here. We'll talk about this on the next session. But thank you so much for being here, for joining us, our audience. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Vivi. Thank you, Danielle. Also, thank the rector and Professor Paula Trevilatto for the opening. And let's keep up. We have more coming later today. All right? Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.